biggest reason that they talk about it for business failure, it comes down to money. A lack of money, a lack of funding, a lack of capital, a lack of
investment in marketing
and financial management,
Yep.
and everything around financing, finances, financials.
The money.
And it's the money.
Because
And I'm thinking to
business
myself,
is about money. And with that efficient money management, you could literally go home with more money in your hand.
Yeah. There you go.
Welcome to Biz Glitch number 101. Welcome. I just like that, how that looks on the video, 101. I also woke up from a nap, so I feel really refreshed.
How this glitch is different is because when we've been talking about CPAs or accounting or taxes, it's about the tax liability, whereas this is more for general business practices with regard to financial management. That is a key distinction because some people aren't money people. They're not business people, but they have a business. So
the advice you get from your CPA with that access all year long can help you do a better job of efficient money management.
Yeah.
Because you're in business to make a profit.
You said you were going to take over and discuss this. We are not quite at April 15th, which is one of a few tax deadlines. And it is about CPAs specifically, not tax professionals per se, tax preparers or people that do taxes.
No.
This is about CPAs, and I'm really tired of talking about it because we see it so often that people don't bother with it. They don't have time, all the excuses.
They think it's too expensive. And it's true. CPAs tend to bill higher costs than a accountant, bookkeeper, tax preparer. But there's a reason why. Because there's a value that you need to understand as a business owner.
Some people think they have a CPA and they don't. They don't know that their accountant is not a CPA. All right, so take it over.
A CPA is a certified public accountant. This is someone who has been educated properly in the accounting field, potentially with a bachelor's and maybe possibly a master's, but certainly a bachelor's degree, but then undergoes 2 years of what's called public service, working for an accounting firm, and comes out the other side of it with a license and permission through that license to provide you with tax advice and bookkeeping advice and advice about the revenue you receive, the expenses you lay out, and the net income and the reporting of that.
Let me interrupt you wearing the business owner hat. An accountant can give advice too. Can you distinguish between the differentiation of a CPA's rendering of advice versus an accountant's rendering advice? Because there are accountants that do specialize in small business advice, but why is it so important that the accountant is a CPA and that advice?
That's excellent. Thank you for calling me out on that. Well, it's a simple answer. It's ethical, professional, reputational responsibility.
And also, if there is such an experience where a business owner is being audited, the CPA has a little more weight in their judgment.
I like that you brought that up, but that tends to be the least likely use of a CPA. This concern about audits is something that I think is overblown by the tax industry trying to scare the heck out of people. No, where a CPA is handy is for you to get this kind of professional advice that's backed up by the experience that person has from their public service and their licensing, which requires them to consult with you in a highly ethical and responsible manner, and they're held to account because of that licensing. And the key element that we want to focus on today is that your CPA should be available to you all year long. That's why Linda said earlier, not a tax preparer, because that's just tax time stuff.
Yeah.
CPAs help you manage the financial management of your business throughout the year, with a special interest in tax consequences, tax ramifications of any actions you may take. One word of caution, which we've seen, and we've mentioned this in other videos, and you'll see it in other glitches, is that too many business owners rely on CPAs for general business advice. And that is not necessarily the right place, the right source to go. You certainly should inquire of your CPA when you're thinking about general business decisions, but take it with a grain of salt because they have a different perspective than maybe a business attorney or business consultants might have. Going back to the CPA, you want to, what's the goal of today's, because I know what the actionable item is, and I was just about to say the actionable item, but I'll let you do the goal first, and then I'll do the actionable item.
The goal is simple. It is to plan out your year, whether it's, depending on the size of your business, monthly might be too often, but quarterly, certainly, especially with estimated taxes being required. And then, of course, annually, that's a no-brainer. Definitely quarterly and annually. People are either relying too heavily on their CPA or they're not realizing the critical importance of scrutinizing the financials. Okay, keep going. You said this was going to be you, so now...
You mentioned earlier people think they have a CPA when they don't.
Yes.
During the pandemic, we assisted hundreds of our clients and thousands of other business owners with free advice we gave either on YouTube or on free phone calls we used to do. And I cannot tell you how many dozens and dozens and dozens of times that a business owner thought that their accountant was a CPA, and they called him a CPA.
Yeah.
And then in 40 seconds or less on Google, I would look them up because I had the tax return. I'd look up, and the person was not a CPA. So please be very careful of that distinction. And speaking of that distinction, another element of what a CPA can do because they are licensed is that they can prepare what's called audited financial statements.
Yes.
Whether you need that for a financing run that you're going to do with a bank or with an investor, or maybe you're going to buy another business and they present you with financials and you want to hand those to your CPA and request that the other business's CPA provides audited financials. So there's that element of what a CPA does also.
Yeah, before we get into the actual item, I just want to reiterate that I find it so shocking that so much around money in business is a reason a business fails, and yet there aren't prudent, proactive approaches that are implemented as a basic level to protect the business, protect the bottom line, protect your legacy.
And a CPA is one of those elements. And we have many more, don't worry. We got plenty of other elements to bring in. The actionable item today, if you don't already have a CPA, is to contact the AICPA, that's American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, online, or your state CPA registry, and start shopping for a CPA. And if you have one, verify that that person is a CPA through those same registries. And if you have done all of that and they are, in fact, a certified public accountant, then have a conversation with your CPA. Maybe drive to their office and take them out to lunch. Spend a little money, get a nice BLT at a diner, and a couple of French fries with some gravy on them. I must be hungry. And discuss access to your CPA.
Yes.
And put the money out there. Say, do I need to pay you a retainer fee so that I have access to you all year long, the same as you would with an attorney, which is a different glitch or several glitches we'll talk about another time. That is your actionable item, is to open the access to your CPA all year long, whenever you need them, so you can bounce ideas off of them, not just ask about tax returns or financial statements.
The excuses that we hear are rubbish. I don't even know what would be a viable excuse. There are people that say, I'm busy, I just don't have time, I'm a one-man shop. All these things.
Too expensive. That is the one I've heard the most is too expensive.
Yes. 101 out.
We'll see you tomorrow.
It's my new thing.
Before we started rolling camera, Linda said, "Oh God," when she read the notes on her computer because she hated this one. I just jumped in and said, "Oh, this is in my wheelhouse." So if you want to put that in B-roll, you just spit all over the table.